how is it that sometimes it seems effortless? We do some programming with Mirror the Mind or whatever technique you're using. All right. And then other times it seems like we're hitting our head against a wall. Have you ever experienced that? And no matter how much you do, it seems like it gets worse. What the heck is going on? These are symptoms, signs of resistance, inner unconscious like resistance. Or how about this? Have you ever had the realization? So, take something simple. It's not, I don't mean to minimize headache. And you're not using the headache control technique, or you're having trouble falling asleep. I admit, 54 years later, sometimes I'm in bed and I'm feeling wide awake and I'm breathing, and I'll say to myself, hey, sleep control, buddy. I'm serious. Make it, and I'll do it. Duh. Then I'm gone. But do you ever ask what's going on here when we need it and we don't even use something that we have available to us and we know that it works? Can you relate to that? It's called an unconscious avoidance mechanism. There's a lot of work in that. Those of you who know me, I'm constantly reading, researching. I am heavily invested financially and heavily invested still in my time. I'm constantly going to events. I'm constantly on, when I can't go physically, virtually, reading and so on and researching. And that's why even my immersion, the way I teach it, there are a lot of slight nuances that people notice. But in mastery, I was 2020 in Australia. They loved it. This time they said I was like totally different because it's a result, the feedback for me working on that. So that's biggie. That is a way I have become masterful in getting people into flow and creating an environment of trust and support in that. So this is only for graduates. I want people who have actually done caseworking and stuff like that because they've been there and there's a whole different mindset. I can do more in 2 days than I could with people for 10 days or more with brand new people because there's more openness. Same thing. Some of you have graced me, hiring me to mentor you, coach mentor you. When we're one-on-one, I can do more because you're open. You know me. I don't take strangers and I don't take people who haven't been to the Silva training and ideally that they know me because it saves them a lot of money and time. We can go right into it because we have that rapport already. And that's what mastery is about with that. So a big thing is self-awareness, to recognize what's holding us back. And oftentimes it's like a light bulb. So let me give you an example. I'll use some simple ones because I want to abbreviate a little bit. Woman, she's working on managing her weight. And she says, I know I eat way too much chocolate, but I love it. And I think she was serious, addicted to chocolate. Can you relate? I love chocolate, but I know I'm not addicted to it. So it's like one of the guided meditations. I have 6 that I've created myself for this program that I don't even talk about when I do the immersion because they're that special and they require a lot of explanation. So she went through the cave and it's a mental regression to help you identify specifically a target. What do I need to work on? Somehow an association has been made. So what unconscious avoidance mechanism means is it's more painful to work on changing than it is to continue to suffer because the suffering is predictable. We know, I've been living with this like this because unconsciously nobody likes to change because it's uncertain and uncertainty is a big stressor. That's why today, please take care of yourself. Today, there's too much, excuse my language, crap going on. There's such a high level of cruelty and vitriol and anger and people not having adult conversation. Hey, you're smart. Let's help me understand. That's not happening. And that's really dangerous. It usually leads, I'm not going to say what it leads to, all that. So that stress mode is what holds people back. So anyway, so she did this, she's going back. And part of it is to relive it and remember some happy memories, moments. So her intention is, she set her intention, I want to solve this. What's really behind my addiction to the chocolate? What's going on? She went back, little girl, her dad traveling for business constantly, like I used to. And every time he left, by the way, psychologists will tell you, no matter how you talk to the child at that early age, it's abandonment. They feel abandoned. Dad or mom is left, no matter how you say, I love you, I'll be back. It's very unconscious. It's deep in the lower brainwave activity, in the subconscious and unconscious. And it's high emotion, intense emotion. So it really makes an imprint. Emotion is the driving force. Then dad finally comes home and there's high emotion again, but joy. She jumps in his arms and she's so happy to see him. And they hug, oh, daddy, and he hugged on over my baby. And what does he give her as a gift? Chocolate. True story. Like a light bulb going off, she realized because of her abandonment issues, which we all have to a degree, depending on your age, the association was she's loved. The chocolate was triggering feelings of love. My daddy loves me. He cares about. I know it sounds, I don't know, it sounds oversimplified, but that's what it amounts to. I'm not a therapist, I'm not a psychologist, but from all the studies I'm working and even doing my own work over the decades of occasionally seeing a therapist to sort some things out with that. Those are the kinds of things that I'm surrounded by all the time with people. Another guy, a salesman, Butch, we do an exercise at the end of the day, which in the morning we spend a push of time identifying what's holding us back, and then we start addressing it and playing with tools and play games. So I have a very silly way of doing forgiveness. It's very powerful, though, and effective, and it brings up a lot of guaranteed in 2 days, you'll elicit a lot of healing emotions, a lot of positive emotion, not just to feel good in that context. So this guy tells me, he says, Ken, I got to tell you this. I worked on this guy. I've been spending months with him, a proposal for his company. It's a big project. It's good for them, good for us. And then all of a sudden, he ghosted me. That was it, dropped it. And I couldn't get through to him. So I said, what the heck? It's been a few years. He says, I worked on him because I was really feeling resentment. Worked on forgiving him. That night, it was Saturday night closing. And I didn't hear from him the next day, nothing. But maybe that week, he said, I'm on the road. He's on the road all the time for sales, driving. He gets a phone call on his cell from guess who? This dude. And he's all apologetic. He says, I got to explain myself. You gave me so much time and effort. You're great. It was all that. But there was a big change in the office. There was a big management crisis. And I couldn't contact anybody. I was at risk of losing my job. And I apologize. It was beyond my control. But now I can do something. And I'd like to make it up to you. And can we explore? Would you be interested? And he said, are you ready for this? The best part of the story? He was in the car, one exit away on the highway from where he would get off to go to the guy's office. He said, well, how about in 15 minutes? I could be there in 15. And of course, the guy said yes, and they clinched the deal. It almost seems like magic, and it's not. But remember, you're more than you realize. What we're thinking, the energy we feel, it's all about energy. And a lot of what you're doing in the Silva program in any meditation is to manage our energy so that it works with us and that we stay connected to source